Very exciting. We've got about 150 competitors, and one of the things I love about the SKOPE Classic is they're all classic, extremely cool cars. It was the BP Alpha, and then it was PDL Classic, which was my grandfather's company, which was run by my uncle Mark. They sold the business to Schneider, and I imagine Schneider said, we're not sponsoring an event in New Zealand, we've got other things we do. And I've always teased my father and said that at the drivers' dinner on the Saturday night, they said, well, you know, PDL is leaving us, we've got no one to sponsor us. Woe is me. And Dad stood up and said, oh, I'll do it, and sat down and looked at his brother and said, how much is that going to cost me? And the next day when he informed me that this is what we were doing, I said, well, I better take over from here, Dad. It was about 22 years ago. I think I was 31. It was the year I started. The first year of the SKOPE Classic is the year I started racing. I took the view that you had to love the car you were going to race, because when you have a crash you want to rebuild it. And I've always loved Porsches. I think they're amazing cars, they're complicated, they're difficult. Old Porsches are difficult to drive because of their desire to go sideways and snap ends. And a friend of mine found this car for me, and it's a replica of in 1974 there was a race called the International Race of Champions, or IROC, where they had 13 identical Porsches that were all based on a 911 RSR, and it was a North American race, and this is a replica of that. My sole goal for weekends like this is to put my car on the trailer straight. I don't care where I come. It's, you know, I'll be in classes with much faster cars. The weekend is focused around families. You know, if a child's into racing cars, come and sit in my car, get your photograph taken in it. And the other thing is, typically, if you had a poster on your wall when you were a kid, you'll probably find it here. So, you know, you go from something like my 300 horsepower 6-cylinder rear-engined Porsche to the monstrous V8 F5000 cars to open-wheel classic vintage class, the very old cars, saloon cars, you name it, it's here. And it's about having fun.